Hey guys, just a quick video to say there's a Springbok team being announced on Tuesday. One-off test against Wales. Obviously, the Boks haven't got the Bulls players that aren't involved. There's quite a few injuries as well in the Bok team, and obviously the European players are also not available as the test falls outside the window. Wales have picked a very young sort of squad for the test. It's going to be interesting to see what they bring into the party. But from a Springbok point of view, there's five factors to watch out for in the Springbok selection that will come on Tuesday. And also, if you want to see more of that, we're going to probably be doing a quite a big analysis in our podcast to the last drop. Have a look out for it here or on wherever you listen to podcasts. Myself and the MDL.com, and we're probably going to have Simon Thomas, the Welsh journalist, with us to discuss the entire selection process. So, given that, here are five things to watch. Quite easy, to be very honest. Now, the first thing would be is who is number 8? That's a very interesting question. Dwayne Vermeulen is retired. Jasper Wiese is now banned for 6 games, so he's out. So Evan Roos and Pepsi Buthelezi are the two eights that are pretty much in contention. You could see Kwagga Smith there as well. In fact, Kwagga is probably the most likely candidate for that. But whether they play him at 6 or not, that's a good question. Depends. The Bulls are out. Sia's not there. Marco van Stalen's not there. So who do they play at 6? Evan Roos has been playing 6 for the Stormers. So maybe he gets a look in there. Maybe Pepsi gets a look in for this game. But Rassie has made it quite clear that he wants to win this game. So that would be the first one to look in. I think Cameron Hanekom put up his hand for the Bulls. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him sneak into some of the tests this season just on the form. He's just such a great talent. And I think to tie him up before the Welsh try and steal him, it would be great. And I think to give him a Springbok cap, he deserves it as well. But that's the first thing to have a look at. My guess is probably it's going to be Kwagga at 8 unless Kwagga goes 6. And probably Evan Roos on the other side, although Pepsi Buthelesi's also done that role. So it could be any of them. But I think bet is probably on Evan and Kwagga for that role. Number 2, just how will the back 3 look? That's an interesting question. Given the injuries to Kurt Arendse, Kane and Moody, you've got some really tough decisions to make. And the back 3, and the Boks were only going to make those decisions on Sunday after watching the Bulls game. But if you look at Kieran Horn and Apelele Fassi are both there, can play fullback. They were hoping maybe to get Willie Leroux if the Bulls went out, but Willie's now out and he's a doubt for the final as well. So that seems to be a problem. And maybe hopefully with the HIA, it's nothing more because we've got a knock to the neck as well. So hopefully it's not more than just an failed HIA, that he'll be back in a couple of weeks because the Boks certainly need him. Damian Willems is also out. There's another one, Cheslin Colby's touch and go. So if we take all that into account, I could see Makazole Mapimpi's probably a certain starter now against Wales. And we'll probably see as well Edward van der Merwe, who I think's really done well. He's certainly put his hand up. He's never let the Lions down. In fact, I'm trying to think of a bad game I've ever seen him play, and I can't think I ever have. Certainly a dynamo, very dangerous with ball in hand. So he could be there as well. Although, the other option is what do they do at 15? So depending on what they do at 15, they probably won't want to have too much of a, inexperienced back 3 because they want to win the game. So you could see Jesse Krill's another option for wing as well. He has played wing for the Springboks before and could play there again. But I think you're probably going to see either Kieran Horn or Apelele Fassi at fullback. And nice to see both of those players in fine form. I'd like to see Edward van der Merwe get a run there. But I could see, I don't know if they're going to mix up the midfield because I think Damien Delena, Jesse Krill, probably the pair that will start it in the midfield as well. So that'll be another interesting to watch, who they're going to pick there. My bet would be on Fassi at fullback, Makazole Mapimpi, and Edward van der Merwe. That should be a very interesting back 3 to watch as well. Number 3, who will the captain be? Well, that's an interesting one. Sia Khaleesi is still involved in the top 14 in France, so he can't be there as well. Rassie said it will come down to 3 candidates, Eben Etzebeth, Bongi Mbanambi, and Pieter-Steph du Toit. My bet is on Pieter-Steph du Toit. The reason being that I think, for one, Bongi might not start the game because if Malcolm Marx hasn't played since the World Cup last year, they're going to be hoping that he gets through 20, 25, 30 minutes, see how long he can go. But it would be safer to start him than to have him off the bench in case there's an injury to Bongi as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how they handle that one. I think if you look at it, even Etzebeth has led the side before. He's a great player, but I think he's a better player when he doesn't have the burden of captaincy on his shoulders. He's certainly the heart and soul of the Springbok engine. And also, if you look back what Rassie did in his very first test as coach when they played Wales in the USA in Washington, Pieter-Steph du Toit was the captain then. So my bet is Pieter-Steph is probably going to be the captain, but it'd be interesting to see. I know Rassie said it's not really such a big deal in the camp as such. And I'll put that clip right here so that you can watch it now. But that's going to be an interesting one as well to watch. So that's the third thing. Who will be captain? My bet's on Pieter-Steph du Toit.
No, we will announce captain. This week it will probably be, to be honest with you, inside the team, the captaincy is not such a big thing. Obviously, long-term permanent captain is something. But when we go into this World Test match without Sia and without seeing if Sia comes without an injury back to South Africa, and we can assess him and see how he slots in and those kind of things. We have 2 weeks after the World Test match. But yeah, it will probably be Pieter-Steph du Toit or even it can be Bongi, but then you might want to start Malcolm to manage his game time so that if Bongi goes down in 10 minutes, Malcolm doesn't have to play a full 70 or something like that. So, but I must say, the guys all are leading really well. The core of the group that's been with us for 4 years, they understand that there's youngsters around them. Everybody's coaching with us and helping with us. So we'll make that call on Sunday night after the Bulls game internally, and we'll announce a captain for Wales. But then when we announce the Irish squad after that, obviously we'll announce, and obviously a guy like Sia will be in the running if everything goes really well and is injury free and those kind of things.
Number 4 is going to be who will play 10. I think you probably see that Faf will play 9. And Grant Williams is also there, so he'll probably be back up. I think Morne van der Berg is in the squad, but I'm not sure he's going to make the match day 23. It'd be interesting to see, though. We haven't really had any indication. We haven't been at any practices, so it's been a bit of a guess in the dark at the moment. But at 10 does, with Handré Pollard with the team, but not eligible for the game, who do the Springboks go with? Do they go with the man on everybody's lips, Sia Masuku, at the moment, or do they go with Jordan Hendrickse, who's been in fine form for the Lions as well? Do they go with Manie Libbok, who was the man in the saddle, but has had some problems with kicking, or do they throw a bit of a curveball and go with Sasha Feinberg Mngazulu? Sorry, terrible pronunciation. Apologies for that. Go with him because he's certainly been the most accurate kicker for the Stormers, and probably the most accurate kicker out of all those. Given the amount of in the URC, the kicks that he's had in the URC. So it'd be interesting to go. I think probably Sia Masuku probably got the nod just through his performances, and the Boks will want to reward that. But that's if they're being bold. If they're not being bold, they'll go with Manie and put Sia on the bench, or Jordan on the bench, because he's got him and Sasha have both got are great versatile players and could come in anyway. But there's an interesting one to watch. Who will be Flav? At the moment, we don't really have a clue, so it'd be very interesting to see what Rassie's thinking is. The final thing to watch out for would be who's going to play lock. I think the whole thought process has been that Evan will be in the team, he'll start, but who's going to go with him? Salman Marat has been the favoured choice. He's had a great URC season as well, and is very much in the Springboks plans. And I'll put also the video here because I asked Rassie about the lock situation. They only had Franco Morsted's the only other lock, but he's so versatile, I think he'll probably be on the bench. Or any of those three can probably play. They don't have any more locks. Pieter-Steph is a cover if need be, but you don't really want to move him if you don't have to. That wildcard situation makes it very difficult for us to see, but I think that's going to be the engine room. But it also doesn't give you much of an indication what's going to happen later in the season. Lure de Jager is out for 2 months. John Klein's out for 2 months. So there's a lot of injuries in the camp at the moment. And, who knows? Ronokia might get a look in. He's been part of the squad as well, but he's in the final this weekend, so he's not available. But yeah, Salman's got a good chance to write his name and make a huge impression for the box, and it'd be interesting to see how he does that. Uh, that being said, that's my 5 things. Let me know what you think. Where do you think the key decisions are going to be for Russie, and who do you think he's going to pick? How many youngsters do you think he'll play in this Welsh test? So let me know, and it'll be great to hear from you. And keep watching these videos. We do a lot more of them as the season goes on. Cheers. Of course, the wild card is that they didn't expect RKS Neyman to be available. Munster was supposed to play in the final, and it depends what arrangement they have with his club as such. Yeah, if he hadn't get in the final, does he join them in London? Does he meet up the squad in South Africa? Is he available for this game? That's an interesting one because it's still outside the test window, so he could be on club commitments, be given a rest rather. But yeah, I get the feeling that Salman Marots, this is the type of game they want him to play. They want him to get more game time and partner a bit more. So I expect him to start with Eben Etzebeth, Peter Steph to stay at 7, and probably Franco Mostert on the bench. But Erge's situation certainly puts it into a bit of a wild card situation.